Nick speaking, and welcome to this late night live stream. Hello everyone, I hope you are all very well. It's coming up to 11:15, and I've just got back from playing snooker, and I'm going to crack on painting my Annihilation Barges because I'm trying to get these done before my fiance comes home. And I've had confirmation that she is coming home on Thursday. So basically I've got to the end of tomorrow to get these finished. So I thought if I do some work tonight, that will hopefully set me on the way to finish them. Okay, so let me get to my normal screen. Hopefully everyone can hear me. Let me know if the sound is okay. Oh, I need to mute myself. We are muted, right. So I'm actually not going to start off by painting. I'm going to put some sand on the bases because I need them to dry so that I can paint them tomorrow. If I leave it till tomorrow, then they're not going to dry in time. Well, they might do in this very hot weather, but probably not. So yeah, I've got my Gorilla wood glue, and I've got my sand. I've got some rocks which I'm going to be gluing onto the bases as well. Whilst this is in a Games Workshop pot, this isn't Games Workshop sand. I bought one of those massive, like 5 kilogram bags. It's currently in my mum's shed, but yeah, I just every so often just top up my pot. So a lot cheaper. I think that 5 kilogram bag, massive thing, costs the same price as Games Workshop's sand in this tiny little pot. So yeah, much better value for money. We have the misadventures of Mr. Goatee. Hello there. Holy cow, is this a week of lives from Nick? Wow, it is, because I have the apartment to myself. My fiance is currently away, so I'm making good use of it, and I'm using it to motivate me to get these painted because, well, we're going to have the new index cards coming up very soon, so I want to be free from hobby so that I can make videos, and also maybe to prepare for the Tyranid hobby, which is going to happen once I get my hands on those new miniatures. Although it seems like every other content creator already has those miniatures, they've already painted them, but not myself. Lord 17C party. Hello Lord, how you doing? I'm supercharging. I'll listen along whilst having a shower as I've just finished decluttering the loft. Right, well done. Right, so no messing around. We're going to crack on. Let's get some sand on these first. So what did I do with the lid? Okay. Now after I've done this bit, I'm going to have to run to the kitchen and wash it up because obviously PVA glue and paint brushes is never very nice. Now here we go. This is one of those non-stick lids, but yeah. It's always hard to know how much you're going to need. I'll probably start with that. That might be enough. A bit more. Some tissue. So yeah, I played snooker. Obviously I went to work first. Then played snooker tonight. Played pretty well actually. I won 4-2, which I was quite happy about. No massive breaks, but I had a few like 20 somethings. Okay, now I'm going to use this bigger brush. So I did put some water in this just to help it spread a little. We have Peter Nicholas even. How can I get your name wrong? It's my name, Nicholas. Good evening, Nick and everyone. Necrons, good evening, Peter. We have Dave Collier, ready for the new stuff. Definitely getting ready for the new stuff. Joe Robertson, welcome to the stream. Just finished the last magnets on my Tesseract Vault, following along your tutorial. Definitely botched a few of them. We'll see how it holds up after I prime. Well done. Yeah, I mean, out of all the miniatures to magnetise in the Necron range, it's definitely the hardest. Definitely the hardest. So let's get this sand on, give it a good chance to dry overnight, and then it will be ready to paint tomorrow. Now, yesterday I was doing some Q&As. I answered all of you guys' questions that I had on my community tab and in the chat, and then I moved on to answering some questions which I downloaded from the internet. 100 questions to ask your friends, and I got to question 33. So I will continue to answer some of those questions as we stream. But yes, as I've previously said, but maybe you haven't heard, as I said, my fiancée is away, and she's coming back on Thursday. Friday is her birthday. Saturday is her birthday party, and when she comes back, she's bringing some family with her who are going to be staying at our place. Effectively, what I'm saying is that the data cards, the index cards, are coming out, and I'm going to have a house full and not going to be able to make any videos. So I will be making videos, but they are going to be a bit late. But nothing I can do. I mean, if circumstances change, then, you know, who knows? But yeah, it's just life, isn't it? Okay. Now always go around the edge to make sure it's okay. This glue is drying pretty quick. Let's just dip it in the sand. Black Templars for the win. Death Marks or Immortals for 10th edition. I have a feeling both might be quite good. Tesla Immortals and normal Death Marks. I think they could both be quite good. I've got a couple of little misses. Just going to put a bit of extra glue on and just fill up the holes. Not necessarily misses, sometimes it's just where the big stone just falls off. Right, we usually have a chat about what we had for dinner. So I had a shepherd's pie for dinner with broccoli and some beans, baked beans. Right, one done. Where are we going to put this? Let's put this over here to dry, and I'm going to need some more glue. Nick, Dave, one of my D&D buddies, I'm teaching him to play. I'll binned that tissue, bear with me. Right, I have my coffee, of course. Cheers. Right, let's get this one done. We have Master SG. He asked me the question about the Death Marks and Immortals. Got 11 people watching. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Obviously I'm later than usual, so maybe I'm hitting a few different subscribers that maybe wouldn't have normally been able to join the stream because of time zone. So yeah, welcome everyone. Right, let's have a look at a question. Have you ever had to look after someone that's been sick and elderly? No, I'll read that again because I read that totally wrong. Have you ever had to look after an elderly or sick relative? Not really. I'm assuming they're talking about like long term. I mean, my mum had a knee replacement, which, you know, I visited her every day and, you know, helped her recover, put on her like bandage thing that she had to have on there and stuff because she couldn't bend down to put it on. But nothing too serious. Obviously there are lots of people out there that do have, you know, they are full-time carers. It's not an easy job. It is not an easy job. So once I've done this sand, I am going to move on to finishing the green. All I've got left to do is to wet blend the little wires on those big guns there, and that will be the green done. Then I'll just have to touch up with some black paint here and there, do some gold, and I'm not going to be too far finished. So yeah, I'm quite confident that I think I can finish these tomorrow, and obviously my plan is to totally paint these live. I haven't painted one little piece on these, not live. I had steak and chips in my air fryer. Oh, very nice. Very nice. I like the peppercorn sauce on my steak. But I do like it to be quite peppery. Some peppercorn sauce is actually quite bland. Always make sure that you get it off of the sides. Sand down the side of the base just looks terrible, in my opinion. It looks unfinished. I've just picked that big one off because I can see that's going to fall off anyway. Put some more glue in and just sprinkle some sand on the join. Okay. Right, that's them done. Brilliant. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to leave you, even though I've only just started, just for like a minute while I wash out my brush, wash this lid, and I'm going to change the water as well. So yeah, I'll see you in literally about a minute. I'm back. I'm back. Right, fresh water, brush cleaned, and PVA grip taken off the lid. So we are now ready to wet blend these guns. get this out of the way. I have left it to last because obviously it's quite a big job, or it maybe seems a big job, but we'll see how it goes, because sometimes the jobs are not as bad as you think they are. They've messaged the guys at Warhammer Portsmouth and set a table next Wednesday 11 to 1:30 ideal times if they got a slot for 10th edition demo. That's a good idea, yeah. Right, let's turn this on. Ta-da! So first I'm going to study my old gun that I'd already painted, because I'm trying to match them in. And I've got a 3-layered blend here. So I've got Caliban green into Warpstone green into the bright mute green, as it's called now. Yeah, mute green, which used to be scorpion green. So I'm just going to do that. Now, to be fair, I was only learning blending here, so it's not like an amazing job, but it's half decent. So I'm just going to try to match it into this as best I can. So that is the plan. So let's remove these stones, put those there. Right, first let's get some paint onto the wet palette. Going into town tomorrow. Ah, okay. So, Richard, you're talking about Dave, and I assume you're talking about Dave Collier in the chat. I think I've just cottoned on to what's going on there. Okay, so saved this space here for this. What we're going to do is we need a little bit of the base coat, the Caliban green. So let's have a blob of that. Alright, there's a blob of that. I'm going to add some water to it. And then we're going to have some Warpstone Glow. Let's give this a bit of a shake. Warpstone Glow. I have the opticians tomorrow at 9 o'clock. I'm going to probably go in and I might be able to keep my eyes open. They'll be like bloodshot. What have you been doing? Oh, I was up all night painting little tiny miniatures. Right, add some water to this. Now sometimes I would use liquid retarder to keep the paint wet as possible, and if I was trying to do really high quality blending, that's what I would use rather than water. But for this, water would be fine. And we're going to have the mute green. I've got way too much paint there. I always put too much paint on, but it's okay. It's okay. Right, mute green. Now obviously what you could do is you could mix these colours together to give you like better transitions rather than just 3 hard transitions. But like I said, I'm just matching these in just to make the guns look a little bit cooler. Yeah, he's the D&D buddy I'm teaching to play. In fact, I may be doing some learning 10th edition tutorial back ramps with Dave, if he's up for it. Oh, fair enough, cool. Right, now I need to select a paintbrush for this job. And I think, because they are quite big, what's happened there? Okay, you can see me, that's alright. They are quite big, so I'm thinking, I think size 1 should do the trick. I'll try it and move up or down if I need to. Can you see me okay still? Right, I'm off shower, but we'll listen along. Okay, Richard, have a nice shower. Okay, so here we go. Here we go. I'm going to start off by using the mid colour. Yeah. So I'm going to use the mid colour and blend it into the dark colour first. Now, they're quite big, so we know that there's like a big area here where we just need to paint solid, basically. So I'm just going to paint a solid colour around the middle area of these first. Let's have a look at a question. What is one quality about yourself that you are most proud of? That's a good question. That is a good question. I think, well, it's not really a quality. Well, I suppose it is a quality. I'm going to say being a father. I think I've done a pretty decent job. So, yeah, I'm pretty proud of that. And the fact that my daughter wanted to live with me it was very nice to know that. What's something that always makes you smile? Always makes me smile. I would say my fiance. She always makes me smile. We have good banter. Not like you know, some people are just horrible to each other, and they call that banter. We just have fun. She's got a bit like myself, quite a dry sense of humour. Obviously, one of the key things here is to make sure that it's dry, that the layer that you've just done. So I'm going to have to take little breaks just to make sure that it's dry. If you do have a question you'd like to ask me, then please feel free, especially obviously if it's Necron questions, because those 100 questions I've got right in front of me are just questions to ask your friends. So yeah, not necessarily hobby related, but well, might give you a chance to find out more about me. So the next question is, what's one skill you'd love to master? One skill I'd love to master. I'm at that age now where I have to ask my 14-year-old daughter how to do stuff. Got a load of midges in here because obviously where it's dark outside, I've got the window open and I've got these bright lights, so they're coming over. So you know, if it's like so it's a question on my apps or my phone or you know something like that, I always ask her how to do it. So maybe, yeah, I wish I was more skillful at modern technology. Okay, now this is the original and I don't need that much of that base colour in. Now obviously where they're round pipes you're going to have to sort of blend it this side, blend it that side, and then blend it like that side, so you have to do it in like areas. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the base coat first and then blend the middle colour into it. So base coat on and then just pull that up and then go to the middle colour, put that on and pull it down and then just blend those two colours together. When it's wet it looks really good, and then when it dries it doesn't look quite as good. You just have to keep doing it. But I was pretty happy with that first one. Base coat on, middle coat on, and then blend it down. Let's do the outsides first. What household chore do you hate the most? This has changed actually over the years. It used to be, I used to hate hanging the washing up. I didn't mind putting the washing on, you know, the clothes, but I used to hate it. And when I was married to my second ex-wife, that was her job. She always used to hang the washing up, so like, yeah, I'm not doing that. However, after we broke up and it was just me and Necron girl, I had no choice. I just had to do it, and I came up with like a little system. You know, what items to hang up first, you know, on the clothes hook and stuff. And now I'm the one that does the washing in the house, and my fiance. That job's fallen to me. She does try to do it, but now that I've got that little system, I almost prefer to do it. So yeah, it's changed a bit. So what jobs do I hate? I'd say dusting, and there's two reasons for it. One, I've got quite a sensitive nose, so sometimes that dust just irritates my nose. But two, it's just boring, and it comes back, you dust, and the next day it's back again, so what's the point in that? Just wish I hadn't bothered. So I'm going to say dusting for two reasons. Hi guys, what's up? Hello Linus, how you doing? Sorry I couldn't join earlier today and won't stay long. Had to study. No trouble. I haven't been on for very long. I only started about half an hour ago. I was out tonight playing snooker, so a bit of a late start, but I want to get these done, so here we are. And this is all I'm going to do tonight. Once I've finished blending these pipes, that will be me done, and I'd be happy with that. The green then would be done. Right, one side done with the first coat. Got this like emoji thing on the right hand side of the chat, and I don't know how to get rid of it. Oh, it's not an emoji, it's like a reaction, I think. That's new, isn't it? Can you see that on your side? It's like a love heart, 100% party. Isn't that like very similar to Instagrams? Like when you go live on Instagram and you like press the heart button and it floats up. Probably taking inspiration from that. Right, now I'm going to do the inside. So exactly the same. That, I don't know if you heard that or not, like a load of bottles being dumped into the recycling thing. That's because literally about 100 yards over there is all the marina restaurants. So obviously at the end of the night they dump all the bottles. We've got some cool restaurants there. We've got one that's not been long opened, called Burgers and Bangers, and we went there once to try it, and I really liked it. I thought the food was lovely. However, my fiance didn't like it too much because you had like wooden like knives and forks, wooden cutlery basically. Obviously they're trying to be eco-friendly, I think. You didn't even have plates, you had trays. But I thought the food was really nice, but she said no, I'm not going back there. I said, well, why don't you just take your own knife and forks, you know? I'm sure they wouldn't mind. Hi all, hello Jason. I only started 40k a year or so ago. Substorm's Imperium magazine. Kuboy took the Marines. I started the Necrons. Struggled with the blades on the Scorpec destroyers. You struggled what? Painting them or building them? Right, inside of the second one. Let's do this one and then we'll have a look at another question. I wish I'd only done one blend on these and not two blends. It would have made this task much easier. Where would you go if you had to pack your stuff and relocate to another country tomorrow? Oh wow. I had to relocate. This is a really hard question for me because I am quite patriotic. I've had to relocate. I suppose I'm just going to do what most English people do and just say Spain. I know my fiance would say France because she loves France, so that's where she is now. Well, actually she's not. She's come back. She's at her mum's house now. Right, that's the inside done. I can only speak good about Switzerland. Next demand for glow effects. Are you still on these questions from yesterday? I am. I'm still on them. We are on question 40. So we're not even halfway through. And question 40 is, are you a registered voter? Yes, I am a registered voter. That was an easy question, wasn't it? Okay. I did treat myself to a tub of Häagen-Dazs salted caramel ice cream after yesterday's questions, where I was talking about my favourite ice cream. I had to get some. It was an offer as well, because normally they're like £5, aren't they? £5.50, but it was only £3.50, so not too bad. He has 999 to go. I'm a registered lunatic. Save time now. Okay, it's looking pretty good actually. Obviously we've got the insides of the wires to do, so let's do that as well. I've only ever had 2 tests at the opticians before. You know when they do that air machine, don't they? They puff air in your eye. The very first time I went and had that test, I was really good at that. I didn't blink at all on all of the puffs. But the second time I went, I really struggled. I was blinking all over the place. Maybe it's because I was, you know, I knew what was coming. It was the first time I didn't really know what was coming. Okay. So I'm not going for a perfect wet blend. I'm just trying to make them look half decent. Where did all the questions come from? They came from the internet. So I searched 100 questions, and there's like lots of different options, like 100 questions to ask your girlfriend. But I went for fun questions to ask friends when you're bored. That was the title. Right, we are on the inside of this one now. What would you say if someone asked you for a random piece of advice? Random piece of advice. That's a weird question. Give someone a random piece of advice. That's weird. No, I just can't think. A random piece of advice. Okay, just don't smoke. It's bad for you. There you go, random. Let's be real, these questions are pretty random. That's absolutely. Always sleep with $1 tucked inside your shoe. If you're sleeping with your shoes on, then you might have a problem anyway. So my advice would be don't sleep with your shoes on. Right, I've nearly done the inside bits now. Probably as good as I'm going to get it for now. I might have to come back to those colours later, but for now it's probably about right. Just sort this one out. Now I don't want to get this one absolutely perfect and then do the next layer, because the next layer is going to interfere with what I've done here. And so I'm going to move straight on to the next layer and then sort of gradually build all three colours up. And it's going to ask you these questions. This stupid emoji, I can't get rid of it. It's like right over the chat, so I can't really see the chat that well. I'm guessing some of the text on the chat. Which website do you visit the most? YouTube, I would say. Yeah, YouTube. Quick getaway from Miss... I can't read that word because there's a stupid love heart over it. Youth I sleep was figurative. Okay, let's start the next colour. And there we go. So I'm going to to block it around here and then blend it up into those two colours. Right, okay, I can see the word, now they've made a comment, that your old comments moved up. So, quick getaway from misspent youth. Right. What's your favourite family-friendly board game? It would be Escape from Atlantis, which is a really old game, but it's a lot of fun. It's very interactive, so it's like a board with shapes on. It's got basically, it's an island which is sinking, and you start with all your men on the island, and you have boats in the water, and then each turn a piece comes away from the island as it sinks. And when you turn over the piece, there's something on the bottom, and you would get a random thing, like a boat, a shark, a dolphin, a monster, an octopus, and a whirlpool. So each time you pick it up, it's something happens basically. So by the end, it gets really messy, and the idea is to get your men, or as many men as you can, off of the island and onto like a safety island in the corners of the boards. It is a lot of fun, and yeah, I really like it. There is another game, like a jungle game, which is from the similar sort of period, but yeah, Escape from Atlantis. Really, really like that game. We do have a friends game, which is okay. It's not like the greatest game in the world, but it's fun answering some of the questions. So at the moment, I'm not blending this colour. I'm just laying it down, because obviously in the middle area it's going to be quite bright. So I'm just blocking this in at the moment. Hello, Mike B. Tesoro of the Seas is a very good family game. I must admit, I haven't heard of that game. Tried playing Munchkin. They even did the 40k one, didn't they? I didn't like it. I'm sorry, I know a lot of people like that game, but I just didn't like it. I do like Ludo. That was when I was growing up, that was the family game, Ludo. Always came out at Christmas. Let that dry for a bit. Once unpacked, we will have to go of 20 questions or careers. What is the worst thing you've ever smelled? Interesting question. I've got an instant answer. I say Monopoly, but no one likes playing with me. Yeah, Monopoly. gets quite one-sided, doesn't it? So I went on holiday to Greece, and we went on this like excursion day, and I can't remember exactly where we went or what we were going to see. The only thing I remember is stopping off to go to the toilet on this hill. If you can imagine a toilet where every day a bus full of tourists get out and go to the toilet, but the toilet doesn't flush. That's what it was like. Yeah, and it did smell really badly. I think that's the worst thing I've smelt. Okay, so Mike says that the game, you place tiles to create a path so that your ships sail along. There is a jacuzzi on the board too that are trying to sink you. So you're trying to be the last remaining ship on the board. Okay, sounds quite good fun. Right, I'm going to go back in with another block layer and just try to get this a nice solid colour. How old were you when you found out Santa isn't real? I don't know how old I was. I don't think I was particularly young. But I do remember the year. It was the year that I got my bike, because I was so excited I couldn't sleep. So I was awake watching fake Santas coming into the bedroom. It's a really hard discussion to have with your children. You know Santa's not real, don't you? That's a terrible question. Right, okay. So that is blocked in. What do you mean, Santa isn't real? Oh, I'm only joking. Of course he's real. Of course he's real. Of course he's real. Oh, I've just seen that they're on this printout that I got. They're advertising 250 truth or dare questions. Okay, I think I've seen this game on eBay ages ago and never since. What's the weirdest fact you've ever heard? The weirdest fact I've ever heard. That is going to take some thinking about. Right, so next I am going to go to the middle colour and blend it into this colour that I've just done. This is the hardest bit. I'm going to paint over the join with this colour, and then I'm going to spread it up and spread it down. Paint it in the joint, spread it up and spread it down. My brother had it, it was a great game. Weirdest fact. Maybe you guys could help me out with this. What's the weirdest fact that you've ever heard of? Be interesting to find out when I go to the opticians tomorrow whether my eyes have got worse. Or not. Eiffel Tower gets taller in the summer. That is a weird fact, but I can imagine probably being true, because obviously, you know, the heat probably makes that metal expand, doesn't it? That will do, mate. So the answer to the question is that the Eiffel Tower gets taller in the summer. The atmosphere was another, can't read that word because I've got a stupid love heart over it. Another good game my brother had. Was that the one with you had like not a DVD, a VHS tape you put into the machine and you played the game with the tape going? Atmosphere is getting re-released, not so I ever played. That love heart is bloody annoying. How do I get rid of it? Ah, wait, there I found 3 dots. It's usually a good sign. No, that's on someone's comment. What would you do if you could do anything for the rest of your life? What would you do if you could do anything for the rest of your life? Well, it's going to be pretty much what I'm doing now. Yeah, lots of YouTube and Warhammer. Probably just no work, basically. These questions are, like you say, quite random. Another midgie. The door is hardly open, to be fair. Are you scared of dying? In some respects I am, I suppose, because, you know, you're not going to be here anymore, are you? So, I think it's something you think about the older you get. Right. Now I'm going to do the underside. Every army available at 2k points, different terrain every game. Yeah, you definitely need a warehouse. Do back reps full time. I don't know I'd want to do back reps full time, but I would like to do YouTube full time. You know, I would and I wouldn't. I wouldn't want to do YouTube full time to the point that it takes over your life more than it should. But having more time to do YouTube would be fun. Okay, now what's interesting is I'm trying to do a bigger blends on this one, I think, compared to the original. That blend between that middle colour and outer layer colour is much less, so I think I just need to go in big with this bright colour. So let's do that, let's go in big with it. Basically that blend I just did is now disappearing. Yo, how's it folks? Hello to Walkforge, how you doing? Nice to see you. No, looking forward to it. Already told the wife I'm being stuffed, having my eyes motorised to follow her around, and voice box that says don't forget to polish my wood. Got these midges everywhere. Right, that's looking more like it. Once I get it blended all together, I think that's the amount of bright area that I need. Much bigger than I had first. I'm okay, just taking a break from painting at the moment. Been reading the Chaos Space Marine profiles. Yes, I bet you have. Obviously we are getting the Xenos ones very soon, so yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what we get. Right, let's have another question. If you found out I was going to die tomorrow, what's the last thing you would say to me? That's a good question, because I have a friend who unfortunately has just been diagnosed with terminal cancer. And I haven't seen him for quite some time. He's been ill for a little while actually, because he had cancer, then he got over it, and now it's come back and it's terminal. But I'm hoping we will get together before the inevitable happens. What do you say to someone? It's like, it's a tough one, isn't it? I suppose just say, like, you know, always remember the good times, or ooh, I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's really awkward. So he had trouble with his toes, with circulation. So he had to go into hospital to have them amputated. And whilst recovering from that, he fell over and broke his hip in hospital. So he's currently in hospital with a broken hip, amputated toes, and terminal cancer. What a tough break that is. He's 2 years older than me. He's 53. I think the best you can do is enjoy their presence and make the most of the time you get. Late night session. Hello Blade Still. It is indeed a late night session. I'm trying to get, well, at the moment, the green finished, because tomorrow is my last day that I want to try and get these finished. So we'll see if that actually happens. Smoke me a kipper. Yeah, not good. So I thought I had a midgie on my leg. Right, I'm just building up this colour now so it's nice and bright. Early morning here, 8:21. Well, hello Nates. Taking kids to school soon. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, what time is it? It is 10 to 12, nearly midnight. Nearly midnight. It was a late start because I went out this evening. So I played snooker on a Tuesday night, and I totally did not plan to stream tonight, but that was because I thought I would have this green painted yesterday in yesterday's stream, but I didn't get to finish some areas, so here we are again. My uncle passed of it a few years ago. I still miss him. He used to tease me a bit and it bugged me sometimes, but I miss him. Yeah, it can be hard, can't it? It can be hard. I feel like I'm covered in midges or something. Probably not, but you know when you imagine they're there. Right, well I'm guessing a nice bright green anyway, so that's a good start. Right, I think one more coat on here and then I can start going to the next stage. And it's no good, I'm going to have to shut the door because I swear blind I'm being infested. I'm probably the only person in the whole of the marina that has their light on still. So like every midgie out there is just like making a beeline to my light. Let me go and shut the door. Everyone is going sooner or later, so enjoy people you love. Absolutely, good advice. Right, bear with me a second, I'm going to go and shut the doors. Go away. Right. I'm back. So itchy now. Out of all the holidays, which one is your favourite? I would say the one I went on last year. My fiance's relatives got married, and it was an Indian wedding. And yeah, we went to Portugal for this Indian wedding, and it was a 3-day event. You know, each day you had like things that you were doing. We had a great time. It was just us two, so we had some good quality time together. Had a lot of fun. I met a lot of her family, and her family's just awesome. Like, everyone was so nice. And the wedding reception was in this castle by the beach. It was a big wedding. It was a very big and expensive wedding. The whole event. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. So probably I would say that was like one of my standout holidays, I would say. Your scarabs got loose. They probably did. If I was on the way out, I probably wouldn't say anything just so I don't get asked things. Maybe text my boss just before game over and say it won't be to work tomorrow. Yeah, the trouble is when you're on your way out, you're not your normal self, are you? Usually you're on drugs, you know, and whatever's taking you is like causing you problems. So probably people would see. But I do understand what you're saying. Right, I need a closer look at this old gun now. Now that is looking better. So what I'm going to do now is basically do what I did earlier and just now paint it over the top of it. So I'm going to go with the mid-range colour, just like blend the join effectively together. What's your favourite charity and why? At the moment, Mind is probably my favourite charity, mainly because I do know some people with anxiety, and it's not very nice, and obviously that's what their charity is sort of aimed for. So that's why I chose Mind for the charity raffle, which does bring me nicely onto that. So if you don't know, I am doing a charity raffle at the moment. There's a little window above my head showing you the models that are available to win in the raffle, and the tickets are £5 each, and I'm trying to raise as much money as I can for Mind. There is a link to the raffle in the description below. Right, here we go. I'm going to try and blend all three together. Oh, it's looking good. First place for me and wife went to, after we got our divorces through, been 5 times. We'd love a holiday home there. What, Portugal? Oh, Zante. Okay. Not been there, I must admit. My maker has plans for me. I'm long for the pine box. He knows my very existence makes other beings' lives misery. Oh, I know that devil dice does. I saw a trailer for The Witcher Season 3. Looking forward to watching that. Oh, this is a big task. Trying to concentrate on it. Just gradually build it up. You know where IDICBeer, Necrons and more will be going, right to a Necron warrior body to fight again. What's your favourite? I'm not sure what this means. What's your favourite Enneagram personality type? I'm going to have to Google that. ENNEAGRAM, meaning. That's what Google says. The Enneagram is a system of personality typing that describes patterns in how people interpret the world and manage their emotions. The Enneagram describes 9 personality types and maps, of which of these types a 9-pointed diagram which helps the illustration how the types relate to each other. Oh my god. What's the question? What's your... I'm not going to answer that question, I don't think. There is a diagram. Let's quickly get a diagram. It's a very small diagram. Get another one. The peacemaker, the reformer, the helper, the achiever, the individualist, the investigator, the loyalist, the enthusiast, the challenger. Okay, right, I would say out of all of them, I would say it would be the enthusiast, I think. There you go. I'm sure you probably all knew the answer to what that question was about, but I'd never heard of that before, so there you go. Right, back to painting. So I've done the outside of that one, so now I need to do this one. Gotta work fast when you're doing this piece, because this is the actual wet blending, because the paint just dries as soon as it's on there. That's where liquid retardo is like much more beneficial, but I didn't use it. Aren't we a bit all of them? Probably, but I had to pick one of them. I think investigator, and not just because of Arkham Horror. I do consider myself to be quite a positive thinker. One of my least favourite character traits is negativity. You know, you've got to be positive in life. If someone offered you the chance to go to outer space, would you go? Hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, what an experience that would be. Obviously William Shatner He did it. Went to outer space. So why can't I? He became a changed man, didn't he, when he went into outer space? He literally changed him. Right, have a little break. Could you imagine going out space? Hell yeah, I would love it. I think it would be really cool. Any tips on how to paint the Celtic dynasty while using purple to denote royalty? Also, which purple should I use? I use these, well, it used to be called Lich Purple, but it's called Sirius Purple now. That's pretty regal purple, and I find it works really well if you're using it with gold as well. So gold and purple. I mean, effectively you could change the green, because Sotek is basically green, isn't it? You could change the green for purple. But I just use purple on their like cloaks and maybe on some of their weapon handles and things. I don't use a huge amount of purple in my army, and only on the characters. It's only the characters that get it. But it does look really cool. I only enjoy painting, but it goes in waves for me. I can paint really intensively, or for a stupid love heart is over that word, whatever that word is that you're saying, for something month, then I have to do something else. It's fair play, yeah. I mean, I don't paint non-stop. I like to mix my hobby up. So maybe like I'll build something, convert something, or I'll do some painting, but then the next project. So I try to mix it up really as much as I can. Lich Purple almost have a bit of regal in it. It's like a pink purple. Love that colour. Yeah, it's my favourite colour, and my Eldar was painted in that colour as well. Right, need to crack on, Nick. I'm going to do the underneath section now, I think. And that wasn't good, I had the base coat colour on there. I have no idea how long this is going to take, but I am going to stream until it's done. As I said, I'm not looking for perfection. I'm just looking to make it look half decent. Do you have an auxiliary army you can play sometimes? I have 6 armies altogether. I have Space Wolves, Tyranids, Eldar, Dark Eldar, and Emperor's Children, although the Emperor's Children are not quite playable yet because I've only got 36 Noise Marines and a Demon Prince, so I need to add some miniatures to that. I used to play a different army every week in the old days. I just can't seem to do that now because the rules were just too much, and buying all the codices was too expensive, and I made the channel more Necron focused. At one point it was all those armies all over the place, but I decided to make it more Necron focused. Ten years ago. Very long time ago. Do you enjoy going to museums? That's a hard one to answer because I don't really go to museums, so is the answer no? Probably not. I think there's certain museums that I would really enjoy. The Star Trek Museum in Las Vegas, I would love to go to that, and I'm sure I would enjoy that. But I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a museum goer. I remember when you built the Space Wolves. Yeah, that was a long time ago. The year of the wolf, and that lasted a couple of years. Wet blending has to be the hardest part of the hobby in terms of painting. I'm still no expert. I'm gradually getting better, but when I first started to try it out, boy was that frustrating. Off for some Z's. See you guys later. Thank you, Peter, for popping in. I will be live again tomorrow at some point, so hopefully you might be able to join in. It is 20 past midnight, so yeah. Let's have a look at my original, see how far off we are. We're not too far off. That isn't the neatest job in the world, my original. It doesn't have to be neat because it still looks pretty cool. It looks decent, and especially from, like, you know, 30 centimeters away, it looks really well blended. It's not until you get right under the magnifying glass that you think, oh yeah, it's a bit messy. So that's what I need to, like, remember. So the key thing is to have a really nice bright middle section. Hello Lieutenant Delta, how are you doing? Trying to finish painting this green. And I've been answering some questions as well. I must admit, I could get used to going live every night and doing hobby. It is good fun, and it's good motivation as well. I mean, if I was single and I was, like, in my house by myself every night, definitely be tempted to do this type of thing more. Not necessarily at midnight, but I'm looking to put the final touches on these now. If I wanted to make these transitions like as smooth and well done as I could do, then I'd have to put a lot more time in. We're getting there, but they'd need more time. But for the standard which I'm going for, which is basically matching in to my old ones, then not that far off probably. Just what I'm going to do now is work on one wire rather than trying to do all 4 wires in one go. I'm going to work on one wire, get that one finished, and then go to the next one. Which models or rules are you most excited to see later this week? I would say the Reanimator. I'd like to see the rules for that. The Silent King, of course, and generally the Catans. And the Wraiths, because the Wraiths is one of my most favourite units. This is the underside anyway, this section, so no one's really going to see this. Right, let's have a quick look, but I don't think I'm going to get this much better. Not without putting loads and loads more time into it, but I don't need to make them that much better than this, because as long as it matches into this, which it does, Just going to do a little final one. Okay, one side done. I need to do this side now. Hello, not telling. He says just admin it, everyone. Just admit it, everyone. We're all paint eaters here. Slurps my paintbrush for a nice sip. I got the GW paint water pot. Totally worth it. This one here. Yeah, it's pretty good. It is pretty good. Obviously, I'm taking the paint off like on the paper and with the water, and then doing that to make it into a point. You don't really want to be eating the paint. Sometimes it happens. So another question. What type of animal are you most excited to see when you go to the zoo? I probably would say the giraffes, because they're my mum's favourite animal. She loves giraffes, and they are quite unusual, aren't they? You know, they're the design, obviously designed to eat high stuff with their necks and stuff. Yeah, probably I'd say the giraffes. Maybe the monkeys as well. They're always entertaining, aren't they? When Nick's eyes start glowing green, we know what happened. Yike, it's 11:75 now. $11.75. Oh, what, this water pot? Is it really? Right, let's get this one done. The very first wet blending tutorial I saw, the guy was using 2 paintbrushes, you know, one for one colour, one for the other, like a wet, one for the paints, one for like the water. It's like, that was so hard, just like keep swapping paintbrushes. It's like, nah. That's looking half decent. Decent enough. It's just a bit more on this side. You probably can't really see what I'm doing anyway in any detail, because the camera obviously is quite wide angle. I'm using the webcam at the top here, and then the laptop camera over this side. Can you see me? Let's get another question in a minute. I need to save some of these questions for tomorrow, because obviously tomorrow I'm going to be going live again, possibly twice, possibly in the late morning stroke afternoon, and potentially in the evening as well, because I think it's just something I want to achieve, is paint the whole of these, you know, all of them live, the whole thing. Good practice as well to be live like so often, to like test yourself whether you could actually find things to talk about, because that's always the worry when you're live. It's like, what am I going to talk about? Obviously I'm not talking about the most interesting things in the world, you know, just having a little chit chat, and obviously having like the questions here, and then obviously interaction with you guys as well. It just gives the extra things to talk about. Right, I would really like to get this gun done, and then I'll just have that one gun left to do, and we'll be close to finishing the green. Oops! So now I'm just literally going over with a little fine-tooth comb, just trying to make any little areas as good as I can get them for now. You have to be careful as well that the paint consistency doesn't change too much. Sometimes it can start to thicken up as obviously the paint maybe dries out. Right, I think I'm going to say that this one is done. I think you got a good thing going with the questions. Thanks, yes, adds something extra, doesn't it? Yeah, inflation plus 40% for Games Workshop sucks. That is much brighter though, but bearing in mind it's been varnished and it was a different paint. Ah, Games Workshop, I hate it when you change your paints. I understand why you did it, but I still hate it. So this one would have been painted, my original one, that would have been painted with scorpion green on the top, and this is mute green, and it is a different green. It's similar, but it's different. It doesn't look quite as bright. Let's try and brighten it up a bit. I might just have to do a few more coats on that centre section. Midgie, go away. Get off me. Obviously there's a danger if you make this too bright that they're going to ruin all the blend work. I'm just going in the middle. Okay. That will do, that will do. Yeah, I'll take that. Right, one gun done. Put that away. I don't have to think about it no more. Now we can just work on this one. Giraffes have only 7 bones in their necks, same as us. Mute is more grey than Scorpion Green was. Yeah, it's just not quite the same. It's close, but it's not the same. If you had an alter ego, what would its name be? I used to always call myself Nico. N-I-K-K-O. That's my handle. Yeah, whenever we played games, like on the computer or whatever, you know, Nico was my handle, my name. So I'm going to stick to that, Nico. Okay, here we go then. Here we go. Let's get this done. Ideally, should be finished by 1 o'clock. I've got to get up tomorrow. My alarm goes off at 6:30. So yeah, and I won't just go straight to sleep after this because I can't do that. So I'll probably watch something on the laptop in bed for a little bit just to wind down. I heard Mr. Cheese painted his wife. He double glossed her. Had to get a cheese joke in. I had to get a painting joke in even. Come on, Nick, come on. Make it look good, make it look good. very warm still. So I've got a question for you guys then. So what would you say is your average time that you would go to sleep? Not necessarily go to bed, because like sometimes I'm in bed at like 9 o'clock but not sleeping, doing other things. But what time would you say is your average time that you would sleep? That's quite thick there. Just put a bit more water in. Yeah, that's it. I did almost go for Scorpion Green for my Elder Army. I'd have been livid if it had changed them to mute. I know, but exactly as what I'm saying. I had Leech purple, now I use the Xerius purple, and it is different. It is different. I am about 5 hours. I am about 5 hours from about 1 AM. Still bugs me there's no middle green between Warpstone and Mute. Yeah. To mix them together, I suppose. Mixing paint is a dangerous thing though, because it's hard to duplicate. That's the trouble. One to 2 AM. I really suffer with my sleeping pattern most of the time. How about when you get up? Do you get up same time usually? I'm very routine. My alarm goes off at 6:30, and sometimes I will get up then, like today. Alarm went off, couldn't get back to sleep. And then other times I'll sleep a little bit more and end up getting up about 7. But obviously I've got things like school run to do and stuff, so even on my days off I'm up early because I have weekdays off. So I still have to do the school run on my days off. And we live quite far away from my daughter's school, so we have to leave fairly early. Sleep, that is, 5 hours at the age now where bladder alarm and backache has me on shorter sleep schedule. Oh, tell me about that. Yeah, backache, waking up with backache. Yeah, and if they change one of the colours too, at the moment I'm liking a mix of Sotek and Flash kits, about 1:1. Right, let's have another question. What would you do if you won $1 million? What would I do? I'd put it into the bank and feel incredibly secure. I'd probably book a nice family holiday, but I wouldn't go out and like blow it on cars and stuff. You know, I've got a car at the moment. It's you know, I've recently purchased. It's not brand new, but it's, you know, it's not that old. Yeah, just make sure that all my children are not, you know, financially like secure, and I definitely wouldn't blow it all, but I would have a nice holiday. I think probably go to America. I wouldn't give up work. Not yet, anyway. And I might eventually. But I wouldn't like, oh, hand my notice in tomorrow. That needs a bit more water as well. Trying out a bit. Convert it to pounds while the rate is still good. Yeah, I'm assuming that. I mean, obviously it says $1 million, but in my head I instantly said £1 million. I've actually got a question. I've been struggling with wet pallets. I found they either dry out super fast whilst using them, or the paint just runs overnight. Any tips? Yeah, my wet palette is a sponge with water, and then I've got some kitchen roll on the top, and then the baking paper, parchment paper. Now previously I wasn't using that tissue paper there, and I was finding it was drying out quite a bit, but when I put this tissue paper it kept it moist quite a lot. As for the paint, I must admit that the paint does go a bit watery overnight, so I don't always find myself being able to use the paint like the next day. But more importantly for me is, whilst I'm painting, it doesn't dry out anywhere near as quickly as when I had the dry palette, which I used for quite a long time. So I wouldn't go back from this. I've never used like a professional wet palette before. I've only ever had this like homemade one. Thanks. Give the paper a try. Yeah. Made quite a big difference to me. It's getting there. It is getting there. People watching. Thank you, everyone. 22 likes. Wow, that's impressive. I appreciate that you know, the live streams are only for the very few. You know, people pop in and pop out, and you know, live streams are never going to get like thousands of views, but they are fun, they're motivational, and they're a good way to interact with people who want to interact with me, you know. And so obviously this is slightly different to when I do my Necrons and More live show. And if you've never seen one of my Necrons and More live shows, then I go live once a month. Usually it is the first Thursday of every month at 9 o'clock. And unlike this one where I just like chill and chat, I have a bit more of a format to it. So like I start off, the first 10 minutes or so is usually obviously like an introduction, and then I talk about like the hobby. So I do like a little hobby update, and then I do a channel update, what's going on with the channel, like upcoming videos and stuff. And then I have a segment called Necrons of the Week where I look at community work, you know, conversions, painting, whatever it may be. That's always fun. And then I have another chit chat, usually about another topic, and then I usually end the stream with Necron's Tactical Corner, where I try to do something tactical, whether that is like you know, like a unit review or an army list, or you know, just another topic basically to talk about. And the show lasts for an hour, and it's quite nice having that format because it keeps me on track. Whereas obviously there's no format, it's just painting and then trying to think of things to talk about. So definitely more chilled. Right, we are now on the stage of just making it look good, so the final touches. I do go blank sometimes and not say anything at all, especially when I'm concentrating. But that's fine. I mean, if you're with someone, if you were like, let's just say you went to your friend's house and you were hobbying together, you'd have blank moments where no one would say anything. So I think it's quite natural and normal. I don't have to be talking like non-stop for 3 hours. Most of the time talking, obviously. You wouldn't want to be just no talk at all for like 20 minutes, but you know what I'm saying. Just trying to make sure that the 3 colours are showing. Right, I think I'm pretty happy with this. As I said, not like the most amazing blending, but good enough to make it look half decent, and more importantly to match it to my old miniatures. If I look at look, I might have to brighten up the green like I did on the other one. I think I just need to do a little bit of work here, but we are not far off now. Let's have one more question, just while I'm finishing up this. Right, one more question. Which instrument would you play if you were in a rock band? I would play the electric guitar. Yeah. I can't play instruments. I have trouble making one hand do something different to the other hand, and I absolutely admire people who are talented and skillful enough and dedicated enough, because let's face it, it just takes a lot of practice. Some people are obviously more naturally talented at it, but yeah, I'd say the electric guitar. I'd love to do like guitar solos. Okay, all I've got to do is brighten that green up a little bit, and I'm very happy to say that I've nearly finished the green. I think I need to just do a little bit there on the front. The second middle colour is not showing that well there, so let's just get that in there. You have to stop at some point, because sometimes you can just overwork stuff. Okay, I think I'm done. I'll have one last look. It's decent, it's decent. There's a little bit here. Just finish this off here. And inside. Come on, Nick, you can do this. Keep messing around with this bit. It's just not quite how I want it. I'm talking to myself whilst live painting with you guys. What am I doing? Self-motivation. We're nearly done. We're nearly done. Come on. Just want to get this done now. Just want to get it finished. Right. Okay, on MasterChef they say that's it, time's up, and I'm gonna say that's it, time's up, paintbrush down, no more painting. That's it, I'm gonna call it quits there. They look good enough, they look pretty well blended. Let me just try and, I don't know if this is gonna focus or not, but there you go, that's how they're looking. Ah, task done. Time, 1 o'clock. Definitely time for bed. Yeah, school run, opticians in the morning, and then come back to the apartment, tidy it, get it ready for the return of everyone, and then finish these. I've got the bases to paint. I've got the blacking in on the silver to do and the gold to do. Then obviously everything has to be glued together that needs to be glued together. But yeah, all done. Have you ever tried to head torch to improve light? Oh yeah, I tried that, then the batteries just didn't work very well. Actually, I had like the goggles on, which you can even use when you've got spectacles. But then I had to move to very focal spectacles, and when I put the goggles on, it just didn't work. It didn't work well enough. So yeah, this magnifying light with the this magnifier with the light on seems to be pretty decent for me. Right, that's it. I need to go to bed. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I really appreciate it, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow in 1 or 2 live streams. But ultimately, the day I hope I'll definitely finish these. Okay, thanks guys, appreciate your support as always. Catch you laters.